everybody, and welcome to another episode with me, Mel The Physio. Today, we're going to talk about posture. What is posture? What are the good, bad postures we take on? The new information about posture, the kind of relevant facts on how to get a good posture, what kind of priorities we have, and the health benefits that posture can have for you. So, I get a lot of my patients come in with a lot of aches and pains or chronic issues, and we always have to find out where is it coming from. If they're runners or if we're just normal going to work, office jobs, and you have aches and pains or any kind of misalignments or taking up bad habits, you have to always think about, okay, where is it originally coming from? And we often have a look at the key thing, which we call posture. And in physiotherapy, we use and correct a lot of the times the posture. So when we go on to think about what posture is basically the physical activity that holds our body upright, So the joint or the play between the muscles, joints, but also our physical awareness or our awareness of the environment, our sensibility to the environment, and how we see our body in a space, which we call proprioception. So the awareness of where our body is in the space, that is what we call posture. There are different types of posture. There's an inactive posture and an active posture. Inactive posture is what we take up at rest, so when our muscle function is at its lowest. So mostly when we're sleeping, lying down, resting is which we call inactive posture. Nevertheless, there's always little adjustments we make when we're sleeping, when we're standing, when we're upright. Something's always adjusting, something's always working, So, but that is what we call inactive posture. An active posture is the joints and muscles working together in movement or non-movement. So there's static active posture and dynamic active posture. A static active posture is what I'm doing right now, which is I'm stationary where my joints all are aligned and my muscles are working. And in a standing position, it could be a kneeling position, it could be in a seated position, but you're mostly static. But still, my body is working to keep this posture as it is. A dynamic posture is when the components are moving. So when your muscles, your joints are in an active motion and you're working. So it's when you're running, walking, in movement, that's a dynamic active posture. Initially or over the years, we've been taught that there's one ideal posture that you have to always take. But now with more research being done, this has been questioned. There is a lot of evidence that suggests that posture does not necessarily impact aches and pains, that having a good posture, you don't necessarily have less issues. You might also, there's no real correlation between chronic pain and posture. There's a lot of evidence that has questioned what we knew from before. You have to stand upright all the time, and that there's one way to stay and there's one way to be. That has kind of changed now because of the more research being done. So now in physiotherapy and other related therapies, we've moved away from the ideal posture that we take every day to a posture variability. That you have, as we move and as we change our positions, that we take on that functional posture through the activity that we're doing. For example, there has been growing evidence showing that staying seated and standing and changing that posture really reduces and eliminates basically lower back pain. So changing postures, changing movements, but also thinking about your alignment through that motion, thinking about, okay, how am I engaging? How is my teamwork of my body and muscles? How am I doing that through these movements is what we're kind of moving towards. That is not an ideal one kind of posture, but it's also individualized posture, and how every person is different.
Every person has their own way of doing things. They might have they're more maybe left or right way inclined, do things in a variety of ways. So then we adapt that to think, okay, now when you're moving, how are you doing that? And how are you thinking about your muscles when doing that? Are you thinking about engaging when doing these postures? So there we can really focus on what do we have to think about when working with the new or the functional posture. And that is firstly the core. So I talked about that in a previous episode, the activation of the core, which you really work on that muscular box, as I spoke about before, activating that. So you have that upper part. The breathing is important, the pelvic floor muscles, the abdominals, the glutes and the paraspinal and the individual little muscles inside hugging that spine. So you're really focusing on activating that as you move through the day, as you're moving, as you're doing things, you're really thinking about that core. And that is really important to posture because it improves that. Without it, you're unstable. There's nothing to hold you upright. So that is an important aspect which we really focus on in physiotherapy as well, and also just to make sure that your core is always engaged. Another key is proprioception. Proprioception is our spatial awareness, how we feel our body move through space, through the environment we have. Even if you close your eyes, you know where your body is in that space. So that is key to the functional posture because you need to know exactly what's happening with your body, when, where, how. So that is the one also important factor when it comes to posture training and awareness of posture. The third factor is alignment. So you've heard alignment always, maybe you're misaligned or you're not in the right alignment. Maybe you've heard that from therapists before. What it actually means is so it has a lot to do with physics as well. So how the head, the shoulders, the spine, the hips, the knees and ankles are in line with each other, or how they are connected to each other, and how the balance is, or if it's in equilibrium. What that means is how the muscles are working together. Another way of putting this is teamwork. You always want to have a balanced team. You don't want one guy doing more of the work and the other guy is just relaxing, So in terms of posture, you need everybody to be working. All of your muscles, all of your the joints, everything has to be it has to be easy as well as efficient and as well as all activated. So alignment is really key. There we talk about center of gravity or the center of mass. That is a center point in our body. Often we can refer to this as our core, but also the center point in our body that pulls us down. So in different positions, we'll have a different center of gravity. And in that circumstance, how is your team play between your muscles? How are you doing things? Are you doing it more with your ligaments being strained? Are you doing it with the passive structures coming under strain as well? Or are you doing it with your muscles? Are your active structures contributing to this movement that you're doing? So that's why alignment, working out where your center point is really important. For example, you could be standing slouched. So I'll just show it this way. You could be standing like this. So my center point, it will be pulling me downwards. But as you can see, I might have stresses in my neck. I might have stresses in my back, in my hip area, in my knees, So it all can contribute because this is imbalanced. There will be a big strain over here. You can see there's not a balance this would not be a balanced posture. Whereas if I straighten, engage my muscles to align it better, so you're aligned rather than like this or this. See, as I shift, my center point shifts. So then this is my center point pulling down. These guys will have so much work to do from preventing me from falling over. But here, for example, there's more of a centered alignment, so center of gravity pulling me in the middle, and these guys can work together rather than this way where you'd have these guys overworking, These are just hanging. So this is a misalignment, or this would be, you get over time, you get injuries like that. So this would be an imbalanced posture. Finding your center, right? And then you have a more balanced teamwork of the muscle groups, active and passive structures. So that's what alignment and finding that center of gravity is for and important. So you really have to look out for those things. So the core, you have to look out for proprioception and also for the alignment when it comes to posture. Poor posture can be really bad for your health. For example, let's take slouching. So I'll show it in this way. So we're staying slouched. This is really gonna cause injuries to your neck, strain on the neck muscles. You're gonna get issues with your back, your spine. It'll also affect how you breathe, because your diaphragm here, everything is crouched, there's less space. So the efficiency and the type of breathing that you're doing will be inadequate. I would say the amount of oxygen that you're getting to your muscles, your body is going to be less, because there's no space to get that full breath that you need, because you're in this posture. It also affects the way your digestive system works, because again, lack of space. You will have issues with your hips and your knees and your ankles, having this kind of bad posture. Over long periods of time, this can reduce your flexibility, cause stiffness, and then increase your chance of chronic ailments. And that's really not ideal, because then you'll be coming to see me more often. I mean, although that's nice, that might not be the goal. So basically, and another fact is, as we age, inevitably our posture gets affected. We start to take a more kyphotic, so we call this slouched position. Our backs become straighter and our arches drop. This inevitably happens as we age. Let's take the elderly population. As we age, the issue with muscular imbalance is there, alignment issues is there, taking up kind of stiff postures, because our height reduces, the vertebra becomes more dehydrated, the connective tissues break down. This is as we age. So posture and having functional posture is really important to keep in mind, because we want to promote a healthy functional posture as we age. It really, really helps with overall health and well-being, cognitive function, also with mood. The more you are active and take up an active posture, you feel better automatically. You have way more confidence automatically. Having that core engaged definitely reduces that risk of falling, injury, and with regards to even osteoporosis, having a really good functional posture is very, very important. In children, posture is key as they are growing. So in a growing, developing child, having a good posture is really, really important. Often, it's connected to activity. If your child is really active, normally the posture and having an awareness of functional posture will automatically be there. But it also has it's influenced by different factors. For example, height, weight, gender as well, having self-confidence. So if they're more a shy child, the posture may tend to be a bit more hunched. So that'll also affect a growing child, as well as different postures when at school, sitting at the desk, different height variations of those ergonomic, or if it's ergonomic at school or not. Having different weights in their backpack. So if they have a lot of books to carry, it may be really a big strain on the back. So that also can have an effect on posture as well. But we often see children having issues like scoliosis or different back issues, especially also when studies happen. Scoliosis, of course, there's no real definite reason for it. It happens sometimes in the growth spurt. It can happen from birth. It can happen in different stages. But being active and having a functional posture is really, really important. For those kind of questions, you can always go to your physiotherapist or your GP just to get an idea of, oh, I can see my child's not having such a great posture. Maybe I need to get some advice on that. Or, oh, I can see the my child is having a little bit of a shift, or in the way that they carry themselves or the way that they stand, they might be hunching to one side or slouching to another. So you can always get help and advice from your health practitioner or physiotherapist. And it is key to get it looked at really soon. But in general, if your child is really healthy and active, you're really on the right path in that sense. Looking at athletes, you'd expect an athlete to have really great posture, but that is not always the case. An athlete should have a more dynamic postural stance so that they're able to quickly move from one action to the other. So it'll be an athletic posture, really ready to jump and get the ball or fall on the ground to catch something, or just be ready for kind of any activity coming their way. So it's a really more kind of a readier posture where your muscles are engaged and ready to go. So you have to really focus on, okay, is their core engaged? Do they have proprioception? Again, how is their alignment? So that's not always given. I do get athletes who come in who I have to work on posture with them as well. Being aware of how your body is throughout the movement is really important. So not only for athletes, but for everybody. Just being aware while you're doing a function. In their case, it's the sport that they're doing. Having a bad posture as an athlete really can affect performance, your flexibility, and overall training as well. So athletes are also, it's also important to be aware of posture being an athlete as well. When it comes to neurological patients, so people who have spinal cord injuries, Parkinson's or strokes or any other neurological conditions, posture is also really important. It's important to know what to do when, which muscles to engage. For example, the core is very, very important there, but also to be able to give your patient participation in their daily life. Just to be able to do things is really key. To be part of your daily activity really affects even your mood, the way that you are able to cope as well. This is really important. So posture is extremely important for this group in the population as well. Rather than trying to correct posture, we can improve awareness for posture and changes through different movements. So functional posture or posture variability is an important role that a physiotherapy has to take in educating the public and people and their patients. So staying healthy, staying aligned, creating that sense of core awareness training that you have, also being really focused on proprioception as well. How your body is in that different space is what we can train. Being really aware also of muscle memory. So muscle memory comes in different forms. You can even, as I say, okay, stand up straight just like a gladiator, or take that posture in. If you're thinking about a gladiator, you're not going to think about this. You're going to be thinking about staying upright, staying engaged. A gladiator is not going to walk onto the arena like this, So taking up that kind of posture, that activated posture throughout different movements is key. So muscle memory can really help with that, or neuromuscular activity where you're thinking of an image and then following through in movement. Muscle memory could be from elocution class, if you've done drama or if you've done any kind of performance where you have to stay have an active stance or a present stance. Staying active is also really important. As the more you're active, the better your posture is. Also taking up kind of mindful types of activities such as yoga, Pilates or Tai Chi can be really helpful. As well as having too much weight on can reduce your abdominal muscle strength, which then in turn worsens your posture, again leading to kind of bad habits, which can in turn increase chronic pains and other injuries. So having that healthy weight that's really good for you, where you feel good, you get your muscles activated, your core is activated, that is really important. Wearing comfortable shoes is also important, as well as having an ergonomic workspace, or even if you're cooking or if you're at the desk, basically having that at your height is really important as well to help with your posture. Also, making sure that you're activating your core at all times. having a really good breathing pattern, so you're not holding your breath while doing movements, you're breathing through the movements is really important as well. Basically, just staying active and having a neutral posture, knowing what your center of gravity is, your center point is, throughout the motions, you know, okay, I know I'm activating my muscles. I know that they're a teamwork of muscles playing together to keep my body in place throughout the motions. And the worst thing you want to do is going to kind of avoid kind of slouching positions, avoid being in seated positions for too long, at the same time standing for too long. The evidence shows that you should only be seated for 30 minutes at a time. Then you should get up and move. So the same thing with standing. Don't stay standing for too long, because again, it can affect the muscles. They can get strained. You can have issues with circulation. So then have sitting breaks. So keep moving and also be engaged, aware of your body, aware of your posture. That is the key. So I hope this is really helpful for you as well, and that you go into your week being really more aware of what your body is doing, how are you moving, are you engaged, and that's really going to make a change for you and really affect in a positive way the way that you're able to live a healthy lifestyle. So maintaining a good functional posture is key. Be thinking about the teamwork of your muscles when doing certain movements, carrying it out throughout your week, and maintaining it throughout your life. Activating your posture, getting your posture to be kind of function. What? I think. So I hope you have a great day. No. Okay. So, no. Okay. And that is really not really great. No, it's not really.